was so excited when I read the patch notes for this guy. I was like, he's going to be an insane cheat code against any light teams. Your entire team is going to get 50% damage reduction from light units. It's just for himself. So I figured that out as soon as I read it when it was actually in the game. I was like, oh, it's just for him. He still does the same stuff from skill 1 and skill 2. Disturb HP recovery. He has an attack power break and defense break. Reusable 2 turns, which is actually not bad for a skill 2. And we've got the control passive. Decreases chance of receiving a critical hit by 50%, which is pretty nice. Reduces damage received from light attribute by 50%, which is, I mean, it's big. It would have been too OP potentially if it was for the whole team, but I was really hoping it was. Reduces damage that other allies receive by 15%, which is the same as before. Doesn't stack with other damage reduction effects, like, for example, Darren. And then he has this resistance leader skill. We're going to play around with him today. He is a really good light tank. I was just, for whatever, I was hope against hope that he was going to actually do it for the whole team. But let's take him into a few different things and see how he does. So the first place we're going to try him out in is Punisher's Crypt. And if you're already like mid-game, late mid-game, end-game, you have Punisher's Crypt teams, you have fast Punisher's Crypt teams. You don't really need a dark tank for Punisher's Crypt for any of that. A lot of people using Tricar, a lot of people using other continuous damage teams. I have weird different teams for all of my different accounts. I have, like, none of the teams are even the same teams. So we're going to take, like, a more early game approach to this. We're doing a continuous damage team with Vertiheal. This is not going to be a fast team. It is, I say testing it out today, but I actually have been testing it out. I was testing it out earlier. Actually, not even today. I was testing it out yesterday with a bunch of different teams. I was going for a more speedy approach. I was going for, and then I tried the continuous damage team. I'm like, oh, some of these teams are actually pretty good, but the fun thing about, like, some of the faster, more aggressive teams that are trying out with the Diaz, and like Diaz just is a dark tank, right? But one of the things with Diaz in here is if it's a faster, more aggressive team and it winds up not working, Diaz was the last one remaining. I was like, okay, I'll just leave it. I'll let Diaz bite the dust, and then I'll change the team up and see how this thing works. And then Diaz just survives with his new passive. He just survives forever. He just takes like infinite amount of hits to actually kill from light units, which is ridiculous, but it's good. I mean, if it was the whole team, it would be just the cheat code. Like, you could just run Punisher's Crypt with like anything at that point if it was the whole team, which is what I was hoping for, which I think, because some people get intimidated by Punisher's Crypt just based on the mechanics of it, like some early to mid game. You could still try Karu this, by the way, but a lot of people get intimidated by this by Punisher's Crypt here. So you can see here, he's not, like, his shield is not like it just got broken. That's how little damage he takes. Everything else is taking some damage, and those Melias are tanky. Soth is actually tanky too, but he's got like no damage there. Look at all that. It's 50% damage mitigation. Plus the rest of his passive is so strong. It's not a fast team. It's a minute and a half team. But yeah, it's Soth, double Melia, and Diaz. The cool thing about double Melia is for this dungeon in general, if you have attack gauge reduction on the boss, that's not good. It'll give him extra turns. But for a continuous damage team, it'll give him extra turns, and then he will take the continuous damage to the face, which is actually good. So Melia, even though she's got some counterproductive mechanics in here, actually, since she does continuous damage, it's good here. Next, we're going to try him out against the Light Rift Beast as a front row tank to protect all our squishies in the back row, and we're not using a crazy pay-to-win team. I mean, the Dark Death Knight was Hall of Heroes already. This is just the unit that you get from the Ancient Coin Shop. These two are secret dungeons, and these two, I feel like most people have the Water Twins. I was going to use other things, but those would also be, like, I was going to use the Neostone Fighters, but those would also be Hall of Heroes. So I was like, you know, let's just do the Twins because they are things that most people have. So, Blood Contract. Ooh, that moved after the Hellhound. The Hellhound has a passive that increases his speed, though. That's why he moved first. I forgot about that. So we need a defense break. There we go. Defense break. Multiple debuffs. So Crow's going to hit pretty hard with his skill 3 on all of those debuffs. Let's see how much damage we wind up doing here. I mean, he's not really going to do any... The Diaz is really not going to do any damage here. He's just there to tank the light. I mean, he's a tank against light things, so he works really great in the front row for things like this, or any light. There's not a whole lot of light dungeons, but for any light dungeons or any light damage dealers in PvE. So we're going to try him out. I'm going to see how how many light damage dealer defenses we have in Siege. I don't know exactly, especially off the top of my head, I don't know exactly what we have there, but we'll see. And then we'll peek into RTA, see if anyone's using him in RTA. I can't imagine that he's really going to be the thing for RTA unless your opponent is using... Maybe if they're using a Leia team, but did pretty decently here. And again, I didn't want to put any like pay to win anything. And you really don't need pay to win stuff for the Rift Beast, but I wanted to just show. And he's just on fight runes, right? So he took basically no damage from being in the front row. Now we're going to test him out in Siege. We actually have a Siege going on. This is not a test battle, so we're going to take him in with the Water Werewolf and the Susano, which just got buffed too. So let's see. I don't know what's going to happen here. I guess we'll find out. Right? So Lorne is going to always target him. He's got the crit resist, and he also has... Actually, let's just do this. Never mind. He's got the crit resist, and also, is he going to do... Let's do this. We got nothing. Fantastic. Oh, actually, let's do this. I suppose we're not really seeing too much. We're not really seeing too much of what he can do, I guess, over here. So, kind of a failure here. Although we did get to see how amazing his skill 2 is, because it multi-hits versus Triana passive. Wow, amazing. I'm so so excited, guys. It's absolutely ridiculous. Lols. I mean, I guess we win, so there's that, but it's like we didn't really see anything from this guy. But I guess the guild would appreciate that we won. We only have one Diaz, so we can only use him once in actual Siege. So we're going to use him. This one is a test battle now. There's 2 light units, including 1 light damage dealer on the opponent's side. So we're going to take him in against, yeah, we're going to take him, and we're going to take 2 units that can't be defense broken. This way, the light units will always attack Diaz, and hopefully we wind up winning this, right? So he's got the defense break there. Let's do Song of the Night Wind. Please don't kill us. He's got the shield. Let's go for... Oh, everyone is... Not a lot of damage, actually. Not a lot of damage. Let's go for stun here. I want a stun. I want a defense break. I want to heal block her. I want all those things. Luckily, we have... oh, no, don't do that. Luckily, we have... I don't know what we luckily have. Luckily, we have something. I don't remember what's gonna... Oh, additional damage. I was trying to think. I'm like, what do we luckily have? Hopes and dreams that we can use to beat this defense. So actually, he's staying alive pretty decently over here. And then wow, he's still alive. That's the surprise of the day. Let's do this. I don't want him to completely die, so let's do one of those. Let's do one of these. So yeah, against the defense like this, I think that there's some... I mean, he's going to die in a second because we brought no healers. But I did bring 2 units that can't be defense broken specifically so they would all target the Diaz. So Diaz winds up dying, but at this point, I think... Oh, he didn't wind up dying! Okay. Okay. That's great. So I think at this point... So that actually has some viability in Siege with this guy. Now we're going to see some Diaz and RTA, his usability here. So they actually picked a Diaz. So they picked Diaz and Leo, which are 2 kind of pseudo counters to the light Chun-Li. But they actually picked a Diaz before the light Chun-Li was even picked. So maybe they were just picking Diaz as a counter in general to that. So Abellio barely survived. So if Diaz was not on the field, so this actually doesn't even have anything to do with his buff. If Diaz wasn't on the field in general... That would have done the same thing before the buff or after the buff. But if Diaz wasn't on the field, because it's only about the light units now, damage from light units. But if Diaz was not on the field, the Abellio would have taken lethal damage and died and wouldn't have been able to cut in and heal the team. But since Diaz was on the field just in general, he was able to cut in, do his wild cure, and that actually won them the game. However, again, to play devil's advocate, the buff didn't really come into play here. Diaz in general... was effective in doing the job that the person picked him for, but it wasn't necessarily his buff that did it. Now we have a match from one of my favorite RTA players. This guy, I was calling him Birdman for the longest time. His name is Curry. He just started a YouTube channel recently. He doesn't do any face cam or talking or anything like that. It's just his matches. But I will leave you guys a link to that channel in the description. But he's got this Diaz. He also has shield. I'm not sure how many shield runes. I'm not sure which units he has got the shield runes on. But let's see how the Diaz passive does against the Julie Lucian. So he took an attack power buffed blast from Julie and Lucian, and between the Diaz passive and the shield runes, actually survived all of that cleave, which is kind of a tall order. That's a lot to ask for, is surviving. Well, I mean, he also had the Bison leader skill, 44 HP leader skill. But this guy, he picks some unorthodox things, and he's got the rune quality to actually pull it off. But anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Diaz, pretty decent after the buff. We didn't really get to see him against light units here necessarily. I just wanted to include this because this is more Diaz stuff, and we don't really think about Diaz too much nowadays. I mean, we were thinking about it for like R5, and that's about it. But yeah, he actually has more viability than just that, especially now. But anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you as always in the next one.